Good afternoon here from North Carolina. We are broadcasting a roll reveal, brand new one for 1959D. This is reveal number 517. It's a 1959D original machine wrapped roll. This is it right here. Looks like a pretty decent roll. Who knows what's inside? Could be all kinds of wonderful things in there. We're going to find out here pretty shortly. I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes because we are a few minutes early, and I want to be able to make sure that anyone who has a chance to come in and watch has that opportunity. I don't want to short anybody the chance to watch just because I feel like doing this early. But I am here. I am here on time. And I'm ready to go. 1959D sports all kinds of doubled eyelid, double die obverses. There are also a number of Class 2 double die reverses. We will be watching through the first 10 coins on the reverse and the obverse to see what we've got. Then thereafter, we'll stick with the obverses unless we run into a new reverse we haven't seen before. Just for the sake of broadcasting the show and getting the show done in a reasonable amount of time, I'm one of those people who doesn't necessarily like sticking around talking to myself, and I don't want to bore people, and I have a complex about boring people, so I don't ever want to bore anybody. I would like to be in a position where I'm providing good entertainment, good educational entertainment for the masses, and boring people is completely outside my wheelhouse. I just hate doing that. And so we have Ant and we have Malcolm here. Good day, guys. I can go ahead and get started, right? Got somebody in the studio watching. Let me get my opener. There it is. All right. Use this thing to open my rolls. This one probably didn't need it. The paper is kind of fragile. But I use this little hook on the end of this. I believe this is a tool for opening iPhones or phones of some sort. I just saw it and thought, hey, that's kind of cool, so I ordered some of them because I thought I need something plastic that has a hook on the end of it. And this is plastic and it has a hook on the end of it, so I figured it would be really good to use for rolls, and it is. It digs in and it grabs so I can pry the paper right open. Works pretty well. I had a whole envelope of these at one time. Not sure what happened to them. I think when I ordered, I got like 10 of them at one time. Alright, here is our roll. Haven't done an original roll of 1959D in quite a while. So we're going to see what we can get out of these. Let's run with coin number 1, Mr. Fletcher. Jim Fletcher gets one that has a little bit of toning on the obverse. Some spotting too. Let's see what we have here. That's a fiber sitting on the coin there. It looks like it's just a later die state coin that has some spotting on it from being on the outside end of the roll. That's what the rest of them are going to look like right there. Not a double die here. So coin number 1 turns out to be not the wonderful that we thought we were going to try to get out of the roll. Good day, Canadian Roll Hunter. Today is one of those days in North Carolina where you definitely want to stay inside. Should have Mickey Fur here watching at some point soon. He's also in North Carolina, and he's getting the same dreary weather we are here. The temperature outside when I woke up this morning, actually, let's just go back to yesterday. Yesterday, Thursday, I was working out in the yard with Mickey, and we were, let me turn the light up just a little bit. We're cutting up an old stump, an old tree, and both of us were getting kind of sweaty, and it was very warm outside. Came inside, found out that the high temperature here yesterday was a balmy 88 degrees. Got up to 88 degrees today. Now, when I woke up this morning, the temperature was 44 degrees. 44. And the current temperature is 46. So it's gone up 2 degrees the entire day, from 44 to 46. And it's been raining all day, and it's just all gummed up and nasty outside. That one was for Carl. We had another normal coin there. So, yeah, we're expecting a low temperature in the upper 30s tonight. And then a little bit warmer tomorrow, but rain throughout this period of time. And then tomorrow, we are kind of watching for the rain and muck to clear up a little bit by tomorrow afternoon. And then slowly rising temperatures through the week until Wednesday, Thursday. We're expecting high temperatures to be in the mid to upper 70s again. So it's definitely spring. Spring is that time where the weather can just bounce all over the place, and it's considered normal somehow. I'm looking for a better sign of a decent double die on the reverse than what I've seen so far. I've seen some very, very minor possibles. That's machine doubling right there. But I haven't seen anything listable. There's one for Sissy. That's coin 3 in the roll. Now coin 4. Mark. And Mark. Now see, now it's too bright, so I can't win. There we go. Try this point halfway between dark and light. This is actually a decent looking obverse. I just don't see anything doubled on it. So I move to the reverse. Whomever is messaging me, if you are in here, I don't respond to messages while I am in broadcast mode. Good gosh. I gotta shut this thing off. There we go. That was Mickey. So, Mickey's not watching his notifications because he would know I'm broadcasting if he did. So this is not anything special. Alright, coin number 5. Richard? There you go, Mickey. I didn't respond to you. In fact, I should put my phone on vibrate. Don't do messages while I'm on broadcast. There we go. That's a little better. Welcome to the party, man. As we'll start talking like an islander, it looks like it's going to rain enough to make us all islands. Nice die crack. Marking nothing. Oh, you didn't aggravate me. You just reminded me that I needed to shut my phone off so I couldn't hear things on my phone. That's all. No biggie, man. Yeah, I'm seeing very, very minor signs of double die reverses, but they're just so minor. So hard to identify. You get them that low down the totem pole. Now see, here's from an original bank wrap roll. You get this stuff on here. So this is something you can get on a coin from an original roll. And that coin's damaged. And that was damaged before it went into the roll. It's got damage up around the rim. Big die crack running up onto the shoulder too. Oh, wait a minute. This die crack goes all the way to the cheek. Goes all the way to the cheek. Halfway through the obverse. That's a nice long die crack right there. If I do say so myself. Let's see. Flip this one over and take a look at the reverse. We're only on coin number 6, so I'll keep checking the reverses here for just a moment. Oh. That's a quite hefty amount of shearing going on there. And that happened, well, either at the mint or at the bank in the counting machine where they wrap the coin. But that's definitely an original something. Here's coin number 7 now. Coin number 7. Hello, Born Rebel. I bet my 46 sounds like a balmy day to you. So what are you complaining about? Yeah, but see, we're near the coast in the southern United States, so we should have 70, 80 degree weather today, like we did yesterday. Or was it day before yesterday? It was day before yesterday. It wasn't yesterday I was doing this. It was the day before yesterday. Today's Saturday. It was on Thursday. We were outside working in the yard, and man, was it ever warm. Really warm. There's one for Eric. So let's move on to coin number 8. This is for Techstar. Dig into this roll to find out there's evidently, perhaps and possibly not anything in it. Which, I mean, you expect that most of the time, but I always come into these rolls with the hope that we're going to walk away knowing so much more and having so much fun and having so many die varieties, but it doesn't always work that way. Unfortunately, you have to take the many normal rolls with nothing in them to provide excitement in the few rolls that have something in them. And I think what we may have here is one of the many rolls, not one of the few. It's one for Chris Hurley. Let's see what Chris gets here. But we could actually run into something really nice and only have 4, 5, 6 of them in the row, and we haven't been there yet because we're only on coin number 9. I mean, it's definitely not time to give up. But everything's kind of looking later dice date and sort of fuzzy and sort of, well, not impressive as far as condition is concerned. Aren't we all looking for one of the few rolls? Heck, that's what keeps me in business. The few rolls. The ones I do send out that have something in them. I wouldn't know any more than you would before you open them because I scarcely open a roll of coins. A lot of times if they're tubed rolls, I'll dump them real quick to be sure they're not corroded. But that's all I look for. The obvious stuff. I quit digging through rolls looking for varieties about 20 years ago. Here's number 11, Mr. Frostbite. I think this is where I'll dig into the obverse only. Eric will help me with the reverses on these when they get there. Eric now has a batch of reveals that he's working on, so any of you waiting patiently for the reveals from 501 up to arrive, he will be working on those over the next week to 2 weeks, and then he will be shipping them. He is coming to North Carolina here in just a few days, and he'll be spending a few days here with Brian and I working on separating a large batch of dye varieties to start going through them and photographing them for the website. So there's going to be probably a large number of new dyes listed here in the next coming months. It's going to take the remainder of the year to straighten all of this out for sure. Brian seems to believe that we are somehow a big old clod of stuff stuck on a coin. There was a lot of stuff around these coins when they were packaged. But that stuff comes right off the coin. See, I moved it just by touching it. So all I gotta do is tip the coin over and it'll fall off. Yeah, there's nothing here that won't come off easily. A little bit of xylene. Working on 505. That was a 4090. Here's one for Dennis. Dennis Paulson. This has got a big clod of stuff stuck on it too. No, this one's damaged also. Interesting that they could damage the coins while rolling them. But yeah, that's what that is. That is a mid-roll damaged coin. On to number 15. This one goes to Sand Digger. The coins don't look real bad. I mean, if you pull them back and look at them, they don't look real bad at all. Looks like we're hitting a normal roll here. Raining again. That one's actually got scrape damage on it there. Probably from the counting machine. I've got two more reveals coming up this evening. We're going to be doing the 2022D rolls this evening, looking for the new doubled die. Pretty decent chance we have of finding them. Man, these coins were beat to hell at the mint. telling you. And it hasn't really stopped here since yesterday either, except that, it's those little sprinkly rain showers that you get, the ones that are just enough to annoy you when you're driving because you don't want to put your windshield wipers on full, but if you put them on the intermittent setting, it's not quite enough, but if you put them on full, it's too much. Yeah, that kind of rain. And we've been dealing with that since yesterday morning. And I decided today was just going to be a day that I'm not leaving the house. Not leaving the house at all today. Here's number 19, Chris Hurley. Oh, you go ahead, Robert. I'll stay here. I'll keep my feet warm. I just got nothing to leave the house for, Part of why it took me so long to get ready today is because I've been kind of laying around with the dog, and well, he's in his lazy mood, and that puts me in a lazy mood. Of course, my dog's in a lazy mood almost all the time, so I have to temper mine. But a little bit of damage on the mint mark there, just a little bit though. Not seeing anything on any of these. Mickey, your legs are tired? Is that from the chainsaw? Mickey and I started working on this tree that I have in the backyard. It's been laying down for, I don't know, I'm going to say probably at least 15 years. And it's been there since I moved in. And it's a large tree that fell who knows how long ago. And when they cleared the woods behind the house to make the yard larger, they left this tree sitting there. And it's just a dead log taking up space in my yard. And I wanted to take care of it for a while now, but I don't have a chainsaw with a blade long enough to get all the way through it. So I just kind of left it alone. The guy next door got the swimming pool out of the yard because I didn't want it. He took it for his kids and stuff, and I told him, look, I tell you what, I'll give you this pool for free if you'll find a way to get this tree out of my yard. And he said, sure, no problem. Well, that never happened. He took the pool and never came back to do anything about the tree. And so Mickey brings a couple of chainsaws up here, and we just start hacking away at it. Well, we get to the thick part of the tree, and even Mickey's chainsaw is not big enough to deal with it. So we're probably going to end up trying to drag it into the woods or something. I don't know what we're going to do with it. But we've got about a 7-8 foot section. Probably weighs water, bugs, and all, rotten wood. Probably, I'm going to say probably 300 or 400 pounds, if not more. I have to figure out a way to get it dragged out into the woods. But we're not going to do it this week because I've got the guys coming, and we're going to be playing coins and beer for 3 days straight. Mickey's going to come up and join us. See what it's like to have 4 current coin nerds in one house. get some 2x4s and lever it out. That could work. Although it's probably too heavy for 2x4s. Mickey says he's going to bring a pry bar with him. I didn't have a pry bar. He said he's going to bring a pry bar and try working on it, but we won't do it this coming week. This coming week is going to be a play week. Mickey's going to come up here. Mickey lives about an hour south of here, so he drives an hour to get here and an hour back home every time he comes to play. Sometimes we work, and sometimes we play, and sometimes we do both, and sometimes we're doing both at the same time. Any way you look at it, Mickey comes up here. He helps me out with the stuff I need help with, and he goes home with coins. We both think it's a fair trade. So that's the important part. The part of it that's thicker, the big thicker part of it that we're trying to work on now is kind of a Y in the branch. Basically, it was a main Y in the lower part of the tree, probably 7 feet up from the base, and it's close to 4 foot across and 2.5 foot thick. So it's pretty solid, I think, and it's got a lot of rot around it, but I think once you dig into it, it's probably pretty solid toward the mill. Now there's a split serif RPM. I may have seen one of these before, but I didn't have it tilted right to see the split, but this one's definitely a split serif RPM. So we do have an RPM in this roll that we're going to have to dig through the remainder of the roll to look for, but we've got some nice markers on here. So this one should provide a pretty good and easy listing for us. I tell you what, we'll watch the rest of the coins in the roll for this, but I'm not going to go digging back through the coins we've already had. We've got that heavy die scratch right in front of the lips, and a couple right in front of the chin there, and all these southwest and northeast die scratches running through the date and mint mark area that we'll use as a marker to see what we run into for the remainder of the roll. This one's going to go to Coins and Ghouls, though. Once we get that roll finished up, that coin will go to him. Let's see what Sand Digger gets. And this is not another one of them. So this is a different one with the same directional die scratches, but it doesn't have the larger scratches right in front of the mouth and the chin. 'Tis a different die. I mostly know that because the mint mark doesn't have any doubling on it. But here's one for Captain Morgan Dollar. Let's see. And it's an even older die state coin with no splits. So it looks like that's another normal one. Wife and I did something fun yesterday for the first time in, I'm going to say probably 4, 5, 6 years. I actually went to a mall. Walked around a mall that was busy and open, and all the shops in the mall were there. I think overall there were probably I'm going to say 100, maybe 150 shops in the mall, and there were only about 2 of them shut down. It's a 2-story mall. It's a Crabtree Mall in Raleigh. So we went to the mall to do some walking around. Paul, there might be something solid in the middle of it, but most of it's rotten. The core of it seemed pretty hard, and I think it's oak. Seems like it's oak. It's tough, and it's kind of an orangish red wood. I had a good time with Crabtree. I mean, I guess that's because I haven't been to a mall. I've been to the University Town Center Mall in Sarasota, Florida, but it's not really a busy mall because it's a piff mall. And this Crabtree Mall was more your normal mall. I mean, it had Spencer's and stuff like that in it. And it was actually kind of interesting to walk through it. Does anybody know, did Hot Topic go out of business? I didn't see a Hot Topic in this mall. And I remember Hot Topic being a big thing about malls. There's 2 or 3 malls in the Sarasota, Florida area that I've been in and around. Otherwise, I haven't really done much of anything with malls since I was a teenager. Both of the malls I used to go to when I was a teenager are leveled to the ground at this point. Mall of Memphis being one of them, and the Raleigh Springs Mall up in Raleigh in Memphis, Tennessee. It's gone too. Yeah, about the 12 inches around the center. Roughly the core going out about a foot is relatively solid. The rest of the entirety of these boards are kind of ick. Probably if you had a mill and a good way of, like a, I don't know, like a ladder mill or something like that, and a good way of sawing this thing and a good way of picking it up, because it's real heavy, waterlogged as hell, and you might actually come out with something good, but it might be way too much effort, way too much time. And yes, I do believe it's oak, which would mean that it's an extremely hard wood. The crabtree is nice and interesting in that if you've got inclement weather, most of the parking is in a parking garage that's only about 10 feet away from the back of the mall. And so you don't have to get out in the weather at all. This is number 36 for Parvis. Or 35, I'm sorry. 35 for Parvis. And it is a gift. And it is it's an RPM. It's one of the RPMs that we're looking for here. It's got that heavy die scratch out in front of the lips. So, it could have been a hickory. If that's hickory wood, then I'm going to enjoy keeping some of it because I like to smoke stuff. I don't know, was it hickory? Mickey would know better than I do. Mickey's the one that was cutting it. But when I was smelling it burn up with the saw blade, I didn't remember it being hickory. It didn't smell like hickory. It didn't smell like oak either, so because oak has a sour smell when you cut it. And this didn't smell like oak, so yeah, it could have been a hickory tree. All I know, it was old and it was big and it fell long before I moved here. So it's not had any leaves on it. And that's how I identify trees. Nothing going on there. That's a Orig coin there. Perhaps after this broadcast, and perhaps possibly sometime Monday evening, I'm going to have a little bit of fun where I'm going to I've got a bunch of 1989s out of this bag that we did like 3 or 4 weeks ago that need to be gone through for the double dies. And so I'm just going to set the stick up in the scope, and I'm going to come on and just do a live broadcast of me going through it and chit-chatting while I'm doing it. So there's no planned time for it. It'll just be something I'm going to end up doing. But sometimes I like just running live and just doing a broadcast for the fun of it. It'll be a roll dig, I guess you call it. Even though this will be a mint seal bag dig. Well, that's mostly what this would be. If we had left it in log form, there's probably about 8 or 10 linear feet of it that would be good in the core. But there was a good 8 or 10 feet of it that was just, it was rotten all the way through. You could kick it and basically your foot would get buried in it. Had some ants back there too. I got to look up. Some big ants. They looked about the size of bullet ants. But of course they're American, so they're not bullet ants. But they had little bands going around their abdomen, slightly lighter colored bands. I don't know what they were, but carpenter ants, I guess, of some sort, maybe. But they had some tunnels dug through some of this wood, too. All that's out there laying there, it's all cut up now, or most of it's cut up. And it's just laying out in the yard getting rained on right now. This one's not one of the RPMs either. We're not getting a whole lot of luck out of this roll. I have found so far 2 copies of the same RPM. There may be a few others in here that I missed a little bit earlier in the process, but that one die, I think, is the only thing of any remarkable note in this entire roll. Unless there's any chance there's something on the reverse I've missed. Yeah, but these ants were, oh man, right close to a ½ inch long, some of them. And they had little bands around their abdomens. Here's another one of them, right there. This one goes to Taco John. All right, so we at least come out with 3 RPMs. All the same die, but at least 3 RPMs. We're up to 43 now. This is Parvis again. And Parvis gets a second one. Would you believe that? Having trouble finding them, but the same guy gets them going through the roll. So I'm going to look them up a little bit later. I'm going to do native ants to eastern North America and start looking for the larger ones that have these marks on them. I looked at them pretty closely yesterday, so I've got them pretty well memorized as to what they are. I don't want to, I want to dig in too deep and messing with them, though, because those things, if they're like fire ants, they could have a very painful bite. Sting. Actually, fire ants sting, they don't bite. They grab you with their mandibles, but they sting you with their butts. Like a wasp. Boy, and them fire ants can make a lot of pain, too. We've got needle ants here, too. Asian needle ants. And the needle ants that we have here are a very painful bite. Or sting. I believe they sting, too. The difference mostly between the what people here call red ants or fire ants and the needle ants is the needle ants are actually black. They have a slightly longer abdomen, longer and pointier abdomen, and the abdomen's the back part. Yeah, head, thorax, abdomen. Yeah, the abdomen part, and they don't have visible nests. So when they build their nest in your yard, you can't see them. And they gave me a bite a couple of summers ago. I went to my neighbor's yard, and I was standing in his yard talking with him, and all of a sudden, I got like 3 or 4 bites on my foot from these needle ants. And I ended up in the emergency room because I was going into shock, going into anaphylaxis. I am evidently allergic to that particular type of bite, but the fire ants, they're real red fire ants that make the nice big sandy mounds like in Florida and Texas, and we've got them all the way up here. Those don't bother me so bad. I mean, they're painful and they make little blisters and everything, and they can make you feel kind of yucky for a couple of days, but they're not like these bullet ants. These bullet ants, I was starting to swell up around the throat and having trouble breathing, and it wasn't good. When I got nailed by those things, it was a bad day indeed. Yeah, but the fire ants, they cause some pretty good pain, but they don't do anything that's highly dangerous to me. January of 2008 when I moved into the first house I lived in Florida. I was a renter. Didn't want to buy down there. I just rented. And I called the owner of the house the night I moved in to talk to him about the pool and how the pool was kind of chilly. And I thought that the pool was heated because of the solar carpet on top of the house. I wondered if maybe that might not be working. And so he told me to go out and check the pump, so I did. And I was standing out there in my bare feet because I'm a hillbilly from Missouri. And I was standing out there, and all of a sudden my feet started burning something terrible. And it was fire ants all over my feet. I got 45 stings on my 2 feet. And had to go to my new job in socks only. I had no shoes that I could fit into because my feet were so swollen. For about a week, I wore nothing but socks to work. It's kind of bad. But, hey, it is what it is. Okay, well, this one's got some toning on the back of it. Here we go. This is Sissy's coin. I believe it. Yeah, Sissy's coin number 50. It's got some color on the back of it. Pretty nice looking color. But it's also got a lot of funk on it. Alright, so we've got those 2 coins out of this roll that I can tell for sure. We may have a couple more in here that I missed in the beginning. But there we are. We have a rather large stack of normal coins, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 die varieties in here. The 4 RPMs. One goes to Coins and Ghouls, one goes to Taco John, and 2 go to Parvis. And so there is that, folks. We have what we have there for that. And I will be back a little later on in the evening today. I'm going to go down and do we had a problem with evidently I don't know. I don't really know. But I have 2 freezers in my garage, and both of them were not working earlier today. And everything in them had started going soft. And all it took for one of them was to pop the little GFI reset in the middle of the outlet. The other one didn't have a GFI to reset, but it wasn't working. We had to unplug it and plug it back in, and it started working again. So I guess maybe we had power failure. I don't know. But either way, I got a bunch of ham that came out, of cubed ham that we're going to have to make beans out of today. I have to cook them up and then refreeze the beans. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go down and make a couple of big pots of beans. So I appreciate it, folks. Thank you guys for hanging around with me today. I'll be back on later on this evening. At what time? I don't remember what time. I think it's 7:30 or something like that is when I had a schedule to come back. So between now and then I'll be cooking. All right, talk to you later. Have a good one.